The word on the rumor mill is that Bryant Jennings is likely to face fellow heavyweight contender Luis Ortiz on a December 19th Boxing After Dark card on HBO. And it will be the co-main event alongside Nicholas Walters, who is likely to be fighting Jason Sosa. Now, most of you probably know that Bryant Jennings was offered this fight against Luis Ortiz fairly recently. I think was it a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And he rejected it. He said it wasn't enough money. I don't know what's changed now. I don't know whether it's because Luis Ortiz has got some type of WBA intercontinental or regional title or something like that, or interim, whatever it is. Is it because of that Jennings has changed his mind and said, you know what, I'll take the fight? And if he has actually taken it, because this is rumor mill at the moment. So if he has taken it, it'll be interesting to see why he's taking it. Was it the extra money they offered him? How did they come about the extra money? Does he want that title to get up in the WBA rankings and maybe try and go for the winner of Ruslan Chagayev and Lucas Brown? I don't know. But whatever the case is, what do you feel about this matchup? Bryant Jennings versus Luis Ortiz. A lot of people seem to be impressed with Luis Ortiz. For those of you who ain't seen him, he's a southpaw, 6'4", long arms. He's a Cuban. He's undefeated. I believe he's already 35 or 36 years old. He was set to challenge for Ruslan Chagayev's WBA strap until he failed a drug test and was caught for steroids. But as is the case, normally in America, when people get caught for serious performance-enhancing drugs, they don't really get much of a ban or a suspension. They're back in action very, very shortly afterwards. Whereas in the UK, you got someone like Dylan White, who wasn't even caught for any serious performance-enhancing drug. He was caught for an over-the-counter supplement, not a steroid or anything like that, just an over-the-counter supplement, which was legal up until about 2 weeks before Dylan White took it. And he ended up getting a 2-year ban off the back of that. So I think it's very fair to say that in the UK, the boxing authorities are a lot more harsh when it comes to dealing with drug cheats. In America, it's like they get caught, they go away for 6 months and they're back. If that. So anyway, with all that aside, we'll have to assume and hope that Luis Ortiz is clean for his fight with Bryant Jennings. Who do you see winning this fight? Are you one of these people that's very impressed with Luis Ortiz? Are you one of these people that's very impressed with Bryant Jennings? Bryant Jennings has a lot of qualities that I admire in fighters, in a fighter. He's got heart. He's got the athleticism. He's dedicated. My issues with Bryant Jennings is from a technical point of view. He's a bit raw. He's got very long arms. I think he's got an 84 or 85 inch reach, despite the fact he's only 6'2", there or thereabouts. He hasn't learned how to actually use those long arms. He squares his shoulders up. He doesn't throw. He doesn't get his stance wide enough to be able to extend his long arms and maximize that reach. He ain't been doing none of that. But he's recently teamed up, following his defeat to Vladimir Klitschko, he's recently teamed up with John David Jackson, who some of you may know is the trainer of Sergey Kovalev. John David Jackson is definitely a good guy for Bryant Jennings, in my opinion. He's a more technical guy, but how much can he really teach Jennings in such a short space of time between the Klitschko fight and this possible fight with Luis Ortiz? Given the fact that Jennings is such a great athlete and he is so dedicated, it's possible that he could learn a fair amount. But as with any fighter, when they move over to a new trainer, it's a transitional period that they have to go through, which is going to take 3-4 fights for them to make a proper transformation and, adjust to the style take on the style that their trainer wants them to take on, or take on the technical improvements that the trainer wants them to take on. So yeah, a lot there to contemplate. Let me know what you guys think about this possible fight, how you see it playing out. Personally, I would favor Luis Ortiz based on recent form. I'd favor him to maybe beat Jennings on points. That's what I'd be looking at. Is Jennings an Al Heyman fighter? I can't remember. I don't think he is he? This fight's going to be on HBO. No, he can't be an Al Heyman fighter. I'm sure he's still with Gary Shaw. He was signed to Rock Nation briefly, but I think he's not with Rock Nation now. He's still back with Gary Shaw. So this fight's Heyman free, and Luis Ortiz is not a Heyman guy either. I mean, who's the house fighter really in this situation? Is anyone really the house fighter? I think this may be one of those rare fights where there's no house fighter, where there's no network favorite, so to speak. I mean, Jennings may be slightly over Ortiz, but it's not like Jennings is the HBO darling or anything like that. So hopefully we'll get a fair and level playing field as far as judges and refereeing. Let me know who you think wins this fight if it does take place. And let me know what you think about all the other variables I talked about in this video. All right, it's Hatman, I'm out.